After Hanuman had set Lanka ablaze, and reports came that an army was marching across the sea, Ravana grew uneasy. He called his council of ministers to decide what to do. But the discussion that followed revealed much about the ruler and his court. Ravana began not by speaking of strategy or defense, but of Sita. Folding his hands dramatically, he told his advisors, "I have brought Rama's wife from the forest. No other woman is as beautiful. Her face, her waist, her form, they drive me mad with desire. Yet she refuses to yield. Now Rama comes with an army of Vanaras. Tell me, what should I do so that Sita may remain with me?" Kumbhakarna, the mighty brother, rose first. "What you did was wrong," he admitted bluntly. "You should have consulted us before seizing her. But never mind, I will still stand by you. I shall strike down Rama, and then Sita will be yours forever." Then another minister, Mahaparshva, spoke words so vile they shocked even the court. "My lord," he said, "a man is a fool if he finds drink and does not drink. Why wait for her consent? Force yourself upon Sita, as a rooster forces itself upon a hen. Ravish her again and again. Devour her beauty." Such words, Valmiki records, reveal the depths to which Ravana's court had sunk. This was not a gathering of noble warriors, but of men who mocked dharma and degraded women. Ravana smiled darkly at the suggestion, but gave a startling reply. "I cannot. Once I ravished a maiden named Punjikasthala, and Lord Brahma cursed me. If I ever violate a woman by force again, my head will split into 100 pieces. Therefore, I cannot touch Sita without her consent." Even here, it was not respect that restrained him, but fear of a curse. For the truth is clear, Ravana never saw women as individuals with dignity. He saw them as trophies. When he abducted Sita, he dragged her by the hair into his chariot. In the Ashoka Vana, he threatened to strike her when she resisted. In his chambers, Hanuman saw hundreds of abducted women from many lands, kept as spoils of war. Ravana himself boasted of them to Sita, promising her the place of chief among them if only she would submit. This is the real portrait that Valmiki paints, far from the modern romanticized image of Ravana as a noble king. His court was filled with voices that encouraged adharma. His pride fed on conquest and lust, and his arrogance silenced the one voice of wisdom, Vibhisana, who urged him to return Sita and save Lanka from ruin. And so, what began as a meeting of strategy became instead a mirror of character. Where Rama built his decisions on dharma and open counsel, Ravana's decisions were shaped by lust, arrogance, and wicked advice. The seeds of his downfall lay not only in the battlefield, but in the very chamber of his court.